Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Chamber's Game Table, where tonight I'm continuing my series of solo dungeon delves featuring a different system each time. This time, Advanced Fighting Fantasy, the role-playing game. So, long time ago, back in the mists of time, I played the Fighting Fantasy Gamebooks. I'm sure many of you have also done it, by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. And I had pretty much, I think, all of them, the American versions that they published here. I still have them somewhere. And I bought some of the new ones. I bought the digital iterations of them and made it out on the tablets and so forth and the phone. But even back then, I was not exactly... I was the tinkerer, right? I've been playing role-playing games, and then I'm like, oh, I don't quite like... I need a little bit more. So I designed my own house rules for Fighting Fantasy, and that's kind of fun. And then years later, I discovered that somebody, Arian Games, I guess, by Graham Botley, decided that they were going to make a full-on role-playing game engine system based on the Fighting Fantasy game, and that's really fun. So this came out several years back. I bought it in 2011, third edition, or this edition print May 2011, looking like copyright 2011. It's under license from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. So this is it. It is a complete role-playing game. You pretty much only need this. It has pretty much all you need. Tells you about how to run a campaign, character creation, the world that the Fighting Fantasy books take place in, monsters, non-monster spells. It's got it all. There are several other books that came out in this series, though. I only own this one. I bought it. I read it. I was like, yeah, cool. And then I never got it to the table, as so often happens so many times in our gaming lives. But I decided that it was a good candidate for this series that I'm doing here. And I said, well, that'll give me a really good motivation to get this game to the table. So here it is. So this series, or this episode is going to follow the same format as this series. I have characters here, and two of them I designed myself, and the third one I just used a pre-generated character out of the core rulebook here. I designed the elf wizard and a dwarven warrior, and then I borrowed a character that I call Corsair Fendor. Corsair Fendor is an adventurer. And then here is Corbor Hammerbeard. He is a dwarf. His description is warrior. And as I already mentioned, Kestrian Woodforest. She is an elf and a wizard. I'm only doing 3 characters for this particular game because there's only 3 races, elf, dwarf, and human. So I got them all set up here. And I figured that I should just make 3 characters. I usually do 4, as many of you know. But here we are with 3. So, a little bit of a caveat here. I played a few playtest combats. I think I got it down if we hit combat, which I assume we will. Those of you that are familiar with this system, I apologize ahead of time if I make any kind of mistakes. But I'm going to kind of go as I'm going to make it up as I go along if I can't remember what a rule is. The Advanced Fighting Fantasy game is pretty neat. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool system. But the book itself, I guess I had a little bit of hard time kind of navigating it a little bit. And that's probably my fault. I don't want to disparage the designer of the game or anything like that. It's probably me. It took me a while to navigate. Now, that's probably my fault. But I just want you to know that I may have missed a rule or 2 or 3. Because of that. And like I said, I'm going to put that on me. But I want you to know that that's probably why, because I kind of got lost. But I think I got it. Combat. I think there's no initiative system, if I'm reading these rules correctly. There's an order of things, and the order of things are ranged weapons, spells, and close combat. That's the order they go in during a combat round. The other thing that I wasn't 100% clear on, but I'm pretty sure that I figured out, was that they had, they said the character can move 2 meters in a round and do something. Well, 2 meters is 6 feet. I know, being American, we don't really use the metric system, but I know enough, played enough role-playing games, and I'm pretty sure that 2 meters is about 6 feet. So that would technically be one of these 5-foot squares. And so that tells me they get to move 1 square in a combat round. It just didn't seem right to me. So there's a page back here in the rule book for house rules. So one of my house rules is that I'm pretty much applying, you know, he moves 25 feet, these two move 30 feet, and they're able to move and attack in a round. I am going to try to keep their initiative system, range weapons, spells, because that sounds interesting. The play tests that I did in my solo little play tests, it seemed interesting, so we'll see. Okay, so you'll see the combat system that goes in place, and also how the system is set up. As I said, I'm not a learn to play channel, I'm just a play channel, so I'm going to start playing. You can kind of learn where this game is based on how I play it. So without further ado, let's get to the adventure. Our random quest generator that we've been using in this series. 6 rescue adventurers. Sounds good. Let's see, obstacles and goals, see if I want to use these or not. It is stop a dark ritual in progress. I guess that makes sense. That's happened several times in my gaming career. So we're trying to rescue some adventurers. We'll call them the Company of the Shining Star. They've been kidnapped, or they made their way into a delve, and they were captured, and they are about to be sacrificed to a dark ritual. I'm not sure exactly what that dark ritual is going to entail, but we'll find out when we get there. So yeah, we'll see how the map tiles come out of Axbane's Deck of Many Dungeons. Always have several questions about this. It's called Axbane's Deck of Many Dungeons, and I got it on GameCrafter. Many other solo RPG YouTubers have talked about this set, this edition. I have the core edition plus a expansion mixed in. For my money and as much use as I've got out of these, this is one of the best ways to create dungeons out there. And mostly because they pretty much give you all you need to create it, including monsters and so forth, what monsters there are. I don't like their monster lists, but I like the fact that they indicate where a monster is randomly, which is great. And then I use my own encounter table to get that. Anyway, but I mention that because I've gotten it several times in comments. Hey, what's that deck? Where'd you get that deck? So, Axbane's Deck of Many Dungeons, GameCrafter. Okay, so let's put our heroes' staminas down. So, our human adventurer, his stamina is 16. Kobold, Hammerbeard, his stamina is 16. And our elf wizard, Kestrian Woodforest, is 10 stamina. So I'll track their stamina there. I'll use this card here for my for the enemy, this card here. And this is the heroes card, so I'll put this over here so you can see it on camera. Right about there. Sweet. All right. This is a D6 system, much like the Fighting Fantasy books. You roll 2d6 for combat, and so you'll see how combat works, I assume, as we get through this adventure. So let's get started. So the first, they see stairs leading down. They look left and right. Left first. They have a place that has double doors. Triple doors. So there's 3 doors down this hallway and a long hallway there. Now, because this hallway is pointing this direction, I'm going to have that be a dead end, or actually a caved in dead end, because that looks like a cave in, and then there's that. So they decide they're going to go check out those doors to see if the adventurers are behind there. So they go to the doors. They have... They just... Or I guess they could have Corsair Fendor open the door. Or listen at the door. He has awareness too. So I believe it's to... He has to... he adds awareness to his skill, which would be a 9. He has to roll a 9 or under to be successful in this kind of a check. And he rolls an 8, so he doesn't hear anything. He opens the door, there's nothing there. Goes over, he decides, he opens the nothing there, opens the door, nothing there, but a side entrance leading out. So there's 2 entrances in. Oh, hi, Coconut. Coconut's here to visit. You haven't visited in a long time while I've been making a video. How are you? Good. All right, so they go back down this hallway here, and they look north, and what they see is... Okay, so it'll be a closed-off area. So but there's a monster there, so that could be interesting. So what I'm going to do is, when it comes to a closed-off area, you're supposed to pull out a king, and this is the room it's in, and there's stairs leading down. But since there was a monster in a closed-off area, I'm going to say there's a monster here. So they open a door, and they see, let's see what the monster is. 14. Cultists. And a leader. That makes sense. All right, you know what? Yeah, so this is like a rear guard then. We'll have them be the rear guard of that. So let's say there are 4 cultists, 3, and then a leader. And we will go from there. So this room is... Okay, good. Nice. Just about perfect. They have a door here. They come in. There are some stairs leading down and so forth. So we're just going to, stairs there, stairs here. Good enough. Cultists are down in the cul-de-sac there, and there's stairs leading down in this square here. So let's get our cultists out and see how this goes. It's really cool a lot of times in my games how I'm telling a narrative. My narrative is fairly random, but also, I don't have like. I don't have an oracle or anything like that. I kind of like to figure it out. But when I do roll dice to get ideas, it's really cool how they kind of seem to fill out my story idea more often than not. So I think that's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, because I rolled randomly that they're going to be going against Dark Ritual. Who does Dark Ritual? Cultists. And so here they are. So the leaders down here, they're all surrounding the stairs. You got these 2 guys up front. The leader and the other guy off to the right. And this is the leader here, the guy with the staff and the dagger. And our heroes enter in through the door. And she's out in the hallway. The dwarf and the adventurer go in. And so no one has missile weapons, but the wizard, she has a spell that she's going to cast. And it is, she's going to cast sleep on this guy, the leader. So the way sleep works in this game, the way spellcasting works in this game, she has to roll 2d6 up against her magic score. She has a wizardry. There's like wizardry, sorcery, and I think something for clerics. So she's going to roll 2 6-sided dice, total results. So it's less than or equal to her magic characteristic plus her skill. The spell is successfully cast. So that's pretty easy. And then sleep is going to be... so sleep works differently in every game. You gotta love it. But it exists in almost every game, doesn't it? The spell put 1 victim to sleep for 5 minutes. The target may test for luck to avoid the effects, but if affected, sleep is normal. The victim may be woken by loud noises, wounds, shaking, etc. The hero may automatically kill most sleeping opponents. So they have automatic death here for sleeping people like I used to do in the old school. All right, then they have a bandit chief here, so I'm just going to use his stats. All right, what if they don't have luck? All right, like I said, it'll start flowing smoother, I promise. But like I said, this is me solo gaming, so this is sometimes the way it goes. Sometimes I have to look stuff up and make sure, especially with a system I'm not as familiar with as others. The victim may be woken. All right, so it's going to be testing luck. So I'll just assume that he has a, what's the highest luck that my characters have? 10, 10, 10. I'll say he has a 6 luck. So he's got to test luck. She has to cast her spell first. So she gets a 7, and it has to be a 9 or less because she has a magic score of 6, and she adds her magic ability 8. So it needs to be an 8 or less. So she gets a 7, and she casts the spell successfully, and then he gets to make a luck test to avoid that, and he needs a 6 or below to avoid falling asleep. Triple checking luck and how it works. I know you roll it. Once you roll it, you lose a point. Yeah, I must reduce it by 1. There's a rule there. That's good. Luck. All right. So special skills. So you have the skills, and then you add them to your attribute. Then you roll the dice, and most of the time you want to roll under, except unless you're rolling combat, then you want to roll above it. All right. Testing luck. Testing luck, use the same victim. 2d6 roll result. If the result is less than or equal to, okay. Okay, so he has to roll a 6 or lower. He rolls a 4. He does not fall asleep. Okay, I'm up and running though, folks. I'm up and running. There'll be less checking as we go. So that was ranged weapons. There are none spells. That was that. So we're hand to hand. So we're gonna have these close with these, and these guys close with these guys, and then he's gonna come around and close with him. And the cultist leader, sure, well, he's gonna close on him. All right, so our guys have to choose one of their guys to be their primary attacker. So, and we'll get that out of the way first. All right, so we'll do the adventurer first. He has a combat skill of 7. He's using his swords, so that makes that 9. So he's got a 9 to add to his roll. And I believe these cultists, I'm going to give them I'll give him a 4 skill. So and I'll give the leader 6. So he's going to attack the leader. 6 versus 9. All right, so our guy gets a 5 plus 6, our adventurer. 6 added to his 7, that's 13. He has 7 plus, what do I say for him? He's going to have a 6. 13. So they do not harm each other. Now, the adventurer has to test against the other guy, Corsor, that he is up against. But Corsor can't hurt him. He can just avoid the attack. And so eight plus 4 is 12. Corsor got a 12 as well, so they both resisted. All right, over to Kobold Hammerbeard. All right, so he's choosing this big beefy guy here as his main attacker. Gotta do that first. All right, so he's got a 6 plus his skill plus his axe is 9. So he adds 9 to this, so he's at 15. And this cultist is at a 4, 8, 4, 12. 15 to 12. So our guy wins. Now, his damage die here is only going to get him 3 damage, and the armor roll of the... They're not really wearing armor, so he would need a... Oh my gosh, what if you're not wearing armor? All right, so let's look that up. All right, well, a wizard doesn't have armor. So what's his defense? I guess there is no defense. I guess we'll say 1 if he rolls a 6 or higher, and he didn't, so he takes 3 damage. And we're gonna say these cultists have 3 stamina, so he drops. All right. However, now he has to defend against this other guy, but he cannot take him down. And 7, 9 is 16. 6 and 4 is 10, so he avoids the attack, and they don't have to trade blows there. So we go to the next round, and we do range weapon. Then we do magic. Well, the sleep was terrible. She's going to try sleep again and see if this guy cannot test his luck, because he lost a luck point. So now he's down to 5 luck points, because I think I gave him 6. Yeah, no, he's down to 5. So she has to roll against her casting, which is a 8. And she rolls an 8, so she gets it. Her spell goes off. He has to test his luck, and he tests it. He does not fall asleep. That guy will not fall asleep. All right, now we go to the physical combats. Let's do the dwarf and his cultist first. Horgar, 9, 18. Cultist, 4. Nope. So he did roll a 6, so he's going to take off 1 point of damage. And our dwarf rolled a 2 with his axe, gives him 3 damage. So he does 2, and that cultist is still standing. Cultist is still standing. All right. Now let's go over to the adventurer. He's going to attack the leader. Oh, 5. Ugh. 5 plus 9 is 14. The leader... He beat the leader in combat, so he rolls a 2 for damage with his sword, which brings us to a 2 is 3 damage, and he doesn't get any armor roll, so he takes 3 damage. But since he's the leader, he has 3 more stamina left. And now, Corsair has to defend against the other guy. 7, 15, 4. Yeah, so no problem. He defends, no problem. All right, next round, we go to range weapons, then magic. She's had enough. She's going to stop trying to sleep this guy. She's just going to force bolt him. Oh, my gosh. So she failed because she needed a 9. And she got a 10. So her spell fails to cast. Now, to be fair, if she'd rolled double 6s, then something bad would have happened on the oops table. But for now, she just missed. She was unable to cast her spell appropriately. She's not having any luck this combat. And that costs power points. So she cost magic points. They're called magic points in this game. So she had 16 magic points. And now she did sleep, which has is worth 2. She did that twice. 4 plus a force bolt, 6. So she's down to 10 magic points. 10 magic points. All right. Now, that brings us to combat. Let's do the dwarf and his opponent, his injured opponent. 4 plus 9 is 13. 6 plus 4 is 10. So he beats him. He didn't roll a 6, so he did roll a 6. All right, so a 6 with his axe puts it at 4 damage. This 5, so that's enough to take this cultist out of the action. And then Corsair Courser Fender is attacking the cultist leader. He gets an 8-17. The leader gets a 6 plus 5. It's 11. Courser only rolls 1 for damage, which is 2 damage. But the cultist does not roll any damage, so he takes 2 more. Not quite enough to take him out, but technically I could add Courser test his luck to try to take the cultist down and do more damage, but I think it's too soon in the adventure to do that. And now he has to defend against the other cultist, but he can't hurt him. 3, 3 plus 9 is 12, 10, 14, so he takes a hit. So that guy with his club, 4, does, I think that is 1 point of damage, but Courser has a leather armor, and he got and his shield. He has a shield that kicked in, so that puts him at absorbing total of 2 points of damage. So he takes no damage from that guy, even though the guy struck him. It just wasn't enough to damage him. All right, so magic. We're gonna try this again. All right, so finally got a Force Bolt off, does 2d6 against the cultist leader, not searching for armor, and takes him down. Then Horgar moves up and attacks. And Horgar, 7 plus 9 is 16, 8 plus 4 is 12, so he hits him. He does an armor save, but his damage with his axe is... that's 3 damage there as well. That's enough to take out that cultist. So they dropped all the cultists, this rear guard, and our party of heroes heads down to the 2nd level of the delve. These cultists have a unholy symbol on them that they don't recognize. So it might be some unknown god, because you know, usually the main source of cultists in the Swordlands are usually the worshippers of Mordenmaul, but these guys are not carrying any of that indication of Mordenmaul, so they got another god on their hands here, I guess. All right, so they go down the stairs and they see stairway. And there's a sound, maybe. No sounds. All right, so they look left. You see a hallway that turns north. And down this other hall, they see a hallway that turns north as well. And Kestrian says, "Well, gentlemen, which direction should we go?" Well, I don't know. Let fate decide. To the right. So they head down the right, and let's see what they got there. All right. Just as they come around the corner, a bunch of clay pots are thrown at them. And I'm going to have them each test their luck, because the clay pots drop and shatter and explode. Minor explosions, but explosions nonetheless. And they are going to each have to test their luck to avoid that. Now, each one of them has 10 luck. They all have 10 luck, so that's good. So 10, 10, and 10. She used a Force Bolt, so she's down to 8 magic points. Okay. Oh, hi, Coconut. You're coming back again? Hi. All right. So we'll have Courser. Courser will be these 2 dice. Kobold will be these 2 dice, and Kestrian will be these 2 dice. 7, 7, and 7. Wow, all 7's the most commonly rolled number on 2d6. Awesome. Anyway, they all tested their luck, so they all lose a luck point. They're at 9 luck. But they all avoid the explosions. And then they see some dog-headed little creatures come scrambling over the rubble with weapons. Let's look them up in the monster section, see if they have such a thing. If they don't, I'll have to choose an equivalent monster. All right, so we'll call them that instead. So, all right. That'll work. They have short swords and light armor. Cool. All right, so let's build the hallway. All right, so they come down the hall. They turn the corner. And there's a bunch of rubble on the ground here. We'll say that that takes off 10 points of movement. And they come, the kobolds come rushing towards them. Full on. There's one there. Oh, you know what? Let's get crazy. I'll say there's 6. 6 is a lot. That's okay. It'll be fun. I have a couple with bows or crossbows, so we'll have some ranged attacks this combat. This guy here, he's got a bow, so he's in the back. These guys are rushing over to come attack. See if the bowman is on camera, just barely off camera. All right, cool. And let's do another one with a bow. And one more with weapons. We'll call that a day. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just do what's on the board right now. Yeah, that might be it. We'll just see how this combat goes. So these kobolds must be in either cahoots with the cultists or didn't come this direction. The adventurers or so forth. So we'll see what happens. All right. So, ranged weapons first. So these guys in the back with their bows fire at the dwarf. They have a 5 combat skill. Ooh, 16. 8. He's not using his axe, so he's only got his skill. I don't think he has any other skill that help dodge. 1. So yeah, okay, 8. So he adds an 8 to his. So 8, 16, and they roll 11 and 15. So they do miss him. It flies by. And then the second attack. All right, so 10, 15, 5, and 8 is 13. So he does get hit by that attack. So guess I'll have to look up that weapon, because they have what kind of weapon they have in their monster description, but they don't have the damage that it does. Let's see if it's in these pre-generated characters real quick. Bow and arrows, there we go. Oh, wow, okay, so it does 3 damage with that roll of 4. And our armor guy, Kobold, he's got a chainmail hauberk, so he absorbs 2 of them. He also has a shield, but he doesn't roll high enough to activate the shield. So he takes 1 hit point or stamina damage. So he's at 15 or 16. All right, so that was that. The elf, Kestrian, she is going to cast she's going to force bolt one of the archers. So she gets an 8. She needed a 9 if I remember correctly, because her magic is 6. 3. Oh no, she needs an 8. She gets an 8. All right, so she casts her spell at that guy. Does 2d6 to him. 8 damage. That's enough to take out an archer. They only have 5 stamina, so 8 is definitely greater than 5. Then the other kobolds rush up. One on the adventurer, one on the dwarf. And so the attack is on. They have a skill of 5, and they are carrying short swords, these guys up front. All right. So we'll do the dwarf attacking his guy first. So Kobold with his battle axe, it got a 9, so 9, 18 versus 11, so he hits. Now, he only does 3 damage, and these guys have light armor. So light armor for monsters is... light armor, they need a 5 or 6. So yeah, so they take off 1. So he hits for 1, or he hits for 2. He hits for 3 and takes off 2. They have 5 stamina each, so one of them has 3 stamina left. All right. And then Corsor versus his kobold. 6 plus 9 is 15. And the kobold rolls a 5, 10. So he loses. Korbor does a 3 damage. Or wait, he does 2 damage. And this guy doesn't. He takes the full 2 damage. So his opponent has 3 damage left as well. All right, back to that. So ranged attack, he's going to fire at... Kestrian, because he recognizes that she's a spellcaster. And of course, spellcasters have to be the first ones out. So he rolls an 8, see if she has a dodge. I don't believe she has dodge. She does not. So 6, 10, and this guy got an 8, 13. So he hits her, and he only does 1 damage, I believe. No, he does 2 damage, and she dodges. She doesn't have any armor, so I suppose you'd need a 6 to reduce 1 damage, I guess. So she takes the full 2 damage. So Kestrian Wood Forest is down to 8 hit points. I didn't mention this at the top of the game, but I pretty much do my healing stones for every system and every campaign that I do. In this game, they will cure 1d6 plus 1 damage, and each one of them has a healing stone. All right, so now we go to magic. She's run out of magic points pretty quick, but she's going to cast a Force Bolt at the other archer back down there. And she needs to get 9. That's not enough. She's not able to cast it. She has an 8 casting. So she fails to cast her spell. Dwarf versus Kobold. 11 plus 9 is 20. 4 plus is 9. He does 3 with his battle axe. And his armor, light armor, needs a 5. Yeah, so 1. So, once again, he only takes 1 point of damage here. His armor came in clutch. Corsor Fendor attacks, and his kobold exchange blows. 9 plus 9 is 18. 11 plus 5 is 16, so that's pretty good. Korbor with his sword does, with a 2, actually does 3 damage. He doesn't roll any defense, so takes 3 damage and drops. So he dropped his kobold. He's going to move up 1. Okay. So, ranged attack, shooting at the wizardress. 8 plus 4 is 12. 9 plus 5 is 14. So, once again, he hits. Oof. He does full damage this time. That's a 3. She has no armor, so she's taking 3 damage. Ouch. She's going to need a healing stone for sure. In fact, she might use it now instead of casting magic. She is. She's going to use a healing stone. So she heals 1d6 plus 1. Oh my gosh. I roll the most ones. I thought it was my friend Chris, but I'm pretty sure now that I roll more ones than Chris does. Anyway, so that's 7 now. Okay. That's great. All right, so these two are attacking the dwarf and the kobold first. 5 plus 9 is 14. 10 plus 5 is 15. Actually, the kobold hits him. So the kobold does, looks like 2 damage, if I remember correctly. Rolled 3. Yeah, it's 2 damage, short sword. And our, it's this way. So it rolls damage, but our dwarf came in clutch with his shield and armor. And he got Kobold Hammerbeard, absorbs 2 plus his shield 3. So he activated his shield with that high roll. So no damage. And now the kobold has to defend against Corsair Fendor. 6, 15, 10, 15. So nobody gets hurt. Or he doesn't get hurt. All right, back to the next round. The bow person is going to fire on... Going to fire on the elf again, the wizardress. And he does not hit. All right, so then that brings us to her. She's going to heal herself again. That's her second charge, but that's definitely good. She has 13 stamina. Her high stamina was 10 anyway, so she's fully healed. 2 charges off of that. Then the dwarf and the kobold. 8 plus 9 is 17. 6 plus 5 is 11. Wow, he smashed it. It's gone. Just the kobold with the bow left. So Corsair moves up on him and attacks. All right, so 7, 16, 8, and 5 is 13. With his sword, he does 3 damage, and this guy managed to reduce 1 of that. So 2 damage to this kobold, and he has 3 left. All right, range attack next, but he doesn't have range attack anymore, so then magic. So she moves up, and she is going to use another 2 points. 4. She's down to 4 magic points. And she needs an 8 or lower, and she gets... Oh, nice. What does that do for spell casting when you roll double 1s? Double 6s is bad, but what about double 1s? I know in combat it doubles your damage. We'll just say it rolls an additional dice in damage. So that's enough. That's like 7, 12, takes it out. All right. What else do they have at the end of this hallway now? All right. There is a door. It is a locked door. Let's see if we're going to go through that. Let's see what the monster is. Okay. That's cool. It's a very hard lock, so Corsair Fender can do the lock. So he is going to... It's trap knowledge and sneaking, but I'll give him a skill point 8, so he needs an 8 to pick the lock. Yeah, actually it's very hard. So we'll give him a minus. He needs an 8, but there's a -2 to this roll. He is unable to pick that lock. Well, we'll come back to it if we need to. But let me see if we can hear anything. So Korbor is going to make a skill test. He doesn't have awareness, and Corsair's like, let me do it. So he 9 or lower. He says, I hear a clicking sound behind these doors. Clicking sound? Yeah, clicking sound. Could be anything. Let us go down the hall, and if we need to come to this door, we'll find a way through. Let's go see what's at our backs, though. So they make their way down this hall, and All right, so they come around. I'm going to see if Corsair makes his awareness check. And he does not make his awareness check. So he's walking down the hall. Let's see if he tests his luck. All right, so he makes his luck check. He's like, whoa, whoa. There's something in the hallway. It's like transparent. What is that? I think it's moving. Back up, back up. So they back up. There's like this blob of gelatinous stuff. Let's check his, and it's moving. Check his awareness. 8, yeah, so he has a 9. He sees some bones and other stuff floating in the middle of it. I think that thing's alive. Quickly, back to the stairs. So they head back to the stairs. Because she's an elf. Most give elves special to find secret doors. Let's see if she can find it by just passing by it. So she has a skill of 4. She has awareness of 1, so she needs a 5. Okay, she goes, whoa, here, check this out. She clicks the door. She opens the secret door. They go down the hallway. The cube of gelatin is slowly but surely making its way around. They go through that secret door and out this other side, and this would be the end of this level. And there is a monster, so we're going to put that monster, we're going to put out a king. And in this big room, you know what? With those beds and everything, I think we're going to make the cultists be here. So the cultists are here. They can hear them chanting now that they've passed by the gelatinous cube. Laid out across the floor are the adventurers that they were sent to find. $10, $20, $30, $40. Yeah, so good. All right, we got some pillars. You know that the Axebane's Deck of Many Dungeons loves pillars, kids. All right, so pillar here, pillar here, pillar here, pillar here, pillars here, pillar here, and a pillar here. Cultists, everybody's favorite cultists. A lot of cultists in this solo series. I like it. We're gonna have it be I'm gonna have it be 5 cultists, 4 normals, and 1 that is going to be a leader. I don't know if those go there. Those don't go there. Sorry, let me get those out of there. Oh yeah, no, they go there. I was right. All right, so we'll put. So this is the altar, and hanging by their shoulders are 2 adventurers, and the cultist leader is looking to gut them and have their blood pour down onto this altar here. And there's the cultists who were looking at the ceremony, the ritual, turn to prevent our heroes from entering into the room. They didn't have a door either, they're just straight up hanging out there. They don't care. Like they just don't care. All right, so our heroes are about to enter, and Kestrian wants to take out the cultist leader who's about to gut those poor adventurers. So she is going to use magic. Nobody has any ranged weapons, so magic it is. All right, so she has a few magic points left, so she's going to try to sleep him. Hasn't had a lot of luck with that. At least she cast her spell. Now he gets to test his luck. And we'll say he has 6 luck again. And he just gets it. So he has 5 luck and does not fall asleep. So it's disappointing for the elf, but that's the way it goes. And she is almost out of magic points. All right, so we're in tight combat. So the dwarf and the adventurer move up and attack. Corsor first. The adventurer. 8 plus 9 is 17. Against 8, 4 is 12. So he wins. With his sword, he is doing 4 damage. Nice. And the cultist, they have like light armor, so that means, I don't know, 5 or 6, they reduce the damage by 1. But that's not enough. I didn't really say how much stamina they have. I gave them 3 stamina last time, I think. I'll give them the same stamina as those kobolds. I'll give them 5 stamina. So this poor guy has taken, he's got 1 hit point left. Okay. And then Korbor Hammerbeard and his opponent attack each other. 5 and 9 is 14. And 7 and 4. I give them the combat skill of 4. Actually, the kobolds are much better at fighting than these poor cultists are. So he rolls 3 damage though. That's impressive. And Korbor rolls 1 on his armor, and that is not enough to take it. So he takes the full 3 damage. Ouch. Korbor. Full 3 damage down to 12 hit points. 12 stamina. I'm sorry, there's no hit points in this game. Okay, and then these two move up in the front to prevent them getting to their leader. And their leader chants... I'm going to say he's going to chant 1 more round, and then he is going to stab one of those people. So that was his action while he chants. The wizardress is going to, she is going to try to put this guy to sleep with her last 2 magic points. Can she do it? Oh my gosh. She she rolled double 12s, which is, she rolls, it's called the oops table. Literally, spell failure of double 6s is something horrible happens on the oops table. It's literally called the oops table. I'm not making this up. So there's the fumble for with your sword, but for spells, here is the oops table. I was hoping I'd be able to use the oops table. All right, it says oops spell failure table. I'm not kidding around. There it is. All right, so 3d6. Holy moly, 14. A dead giant squid appears above the head of a random party member. The falling squid causes 1d3 points of stamina damage and knocks the hero down. Nice. So one of our people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So on the dwarf, so he is knocked down. Great. That is hilarious. All right, a giant falling squid, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so that brings us to combat. So the dwarf is going to be able to stand up and attack, but he takes 1d3 stamina damage. I forgot about that part. 2 damage. Down to 10. By no fault of his own, by the way. And our wizardress is at 0 magic points. So, I'll do something for her in a minute. I have an idea. It'll be a house rule, I guess. All right, so these two are going to attack each other. These two being Korbor and a cultist. 5 and 9 is 14. 8 and 4 is 12. So Korbor barely makes it. He only does... well, I guess that's 3 points of damage in this guy's armor. So yeah, so he takes 3. So he's at 2 remaining. And then Corsair is going to attack his. 8 and 9 is 17. 10 and 5 is 15. So Corsair defeated his guy. He rolled a 4 for damage. With his sword, that puts it at 3 damage. However, he reduces that by 1, so he takes 2. But that's still enough to take him down. So he drops. And then Corsair moves up on this guy here. The cultist takes his knife and starts pulling it down the chest of one of the adventurers, and the adventurer starts to bleed and seems to be in a stupor and starts to wriggle a bit on his bonds, and he's in pain but still alive. So we go to the next, and then this cultist attacks Corsair, but since Corsair already attacked one person this round, he's only defending, and he defends well. And then this cultist attacks Corsair as well, since he's right there already. And 8 and 5 is 13. 5 and 9 is 14. Barely missed that time. Barely missed that time. All right, so that is that. We go to magic. Now, I'm going to have her test her luck to see if she can muster enough to get some more magic points. 9. Her luck is 9 right now, so that's good. So she tests her luck, and that's a house roll, folks. It's not in the book as far as I know. And I'm going to give her back 2 plus a D3 back. So 2, 4 more. I'm giving her 4 magic points back. She musters some concentration, gets them back, and that's what she's going to do this round. So that's it for that. And now we go to physical combat. Now, this guy is dying up there, and they know it, but there's not much, they can't seem to get past these cultists. So, oh my gosh. Wow. So they didn't tie, but they both rolled. I guess in combat, wow. If they had rolled double 6s, they both fumble. They're both fumbling. The cultist and Hammerbeard. I can't believe I rolled like 4 1s. Plus this damage die did a 1. That is a lot of 1s. Chris, are you watching this? All right. Holy moly. Let's see. Combat. Critical hits. Where's fumbles? If a combat rolls a double 1, that combatant has fumbled their weapon will automatically lose that round regardless of combat totals. In addition, the loser must roll 2d6 to find out what effect to fumble. If both combatants roll double 1, then not only do they both make rolls on fumble table, but both weapons will also shatter in addition to any other effects. Magic weapons never shatter. So they've lost their weapons. Oh my gosh. If a critical and a fumble are both rolled in one round, the loser's weapon will fumble in addition to all other applicable defense. Both weapons will also shatter in addition to any other effects. Magic weapons never shatters way. Yeah, so they both have to roll on their fumble table. The cultist hits the nearest ally for double normal damage. So he hits his own cultist for double normal damage. So I guess I have to roll. So he hit, and his damage was a 1. So on their weapons, on short swords or clubs or whatever, he's only doing 1 damage, but that's actually 2 damage. So he wounds his cultist friend down to 3. All right, funny. And then we'll see what happens with... Oh, he rolled a 5. Hero falls flat on his face. Character is -4 for 2 rounds and may attempt to get up. So he falls flat on his face and is like, can't get up, and his weapon is shattered. So this is turning out to be total chaos, folks. Chaos. All right. It's going to take him 2 rounds to stand up because he's so messed up. 2 rounds and then needs to get up. All right. Wow. Okay. That was crazy. Corsair. He saw the other guy hit his own friend, so he's going to turn it. He's going to become, that cultist is going to become his main. Oh my gosh. First of all, That's an 11. 7 plus... Okay, so he loses combat and he fumbles. Can't believe I just rolled double ones again. This is crazy. All right, so... my goodness gracious. So much chaos. Where is the combat section? All right. All right, so... Oops, spell failure. And I was just literally there. Okay, fumbles. So if combat rolls double one, that combatant has fumbled their weapon will automatically lose a round, so he loses. In addition, he must roll 2d6. 9. Here's weapon is thrown beyond enemies. This weapon may not be reclaimed until after a fight. So it went flying back past the wizard, down this hall. There's no way he's getting to it. And he takes damage, which they rolled a 4 on with their clubs. So that is 2 damage. It is 3 damage. And his armor roll is pretty good, thank goodness. Corsair's armor roll is a 5. Plus his shield kicks in, so 2. So he only takes 1 damage. Down to 15 stamina. Alrighty. And that cultist kills one of the adventurers. Now he's going to move on to the other one. Alright, so she has magic points back. So she's going to hit the head cultist with her force bolt. Or should she try to sleep him again? Now his luck is down to 5. She's going to try to sleep him. She's going to do it. She's going to go for the sleep. So she needs to roll a 9 or an 8 or fewer. Oh my gosh. She fails to cast the spell, and those spell points are, magic points are lost. Oh my gosh. They're getting beat up. So let's do the dwarf. He's at -4 to this attack. And he has no weapon. Fighting unarmed, I saw fighting unarmed somewhere in here. And I could be using luck in combat, but I still haven't gotten around to that. Unarmed, unarmed, multiple attacks, multiple combatants, weapons. Unarmed heroes force fight with fists, knees, head, dagger, whatever. And it improvised weapons, uses the brawling special skill. Well, the good news is Kobold has brawling, I think. He does. So that's good. In addition, if the hero is facing opponent's arm with a weapon larger, so he has no weapon either. The brawler suffers a -4 penalty to, so they just fight each other, and I guess they do some damage. I guess. Okay. I wonder if it's under weapons for fist or whatever. Ooh, I have been doing outnumbering wrong. You get a +1 to attack for each additional combatant. Multiple combatants. Kind of. All right. Anyway, let's look under weapons real quick for fists. I wonder if fist is under weapons. Unarmed, human size. There we go. Good. Okay. Getting my act together here, folks. So this was Corsair versus the dude, right? No. This is my poor dwarf. So he's a -4, so he basically just gets 9, 5, 10. So the cultist wins. And he rolls a I think that's 2 damage. It is 2 damage, and his armor, Kobold's armor is 2. So he doesn't take any damage. His armor saved him, but remember this guy's brawling too. Oh, he's brawling, yeah. So it's actually only been 1 damage. His armor absorbed it. All right. Woo! That's 1 round for Kobold being on the ground. Now let's do Corsair versus his 1. And I'm giving a +1 to his combatant since he is ganged up on. So 5 and 9 is 14. Oh, no, wait. 5 and 5 is 10. 6 and 9 is 15. So he wins the battle with this guy. His sword is doing 3 damage, and his light armor is not getting him anything. You need to roll a 5 or 6. So he is... all right, so that's... this guy's new. Nope, no, he isn't. But he is injured. So it's enough to take him down. So he is now down. Another cultist bites the dust. And he moves up 1. He can't disengage combat with that guy, but he's going to attack him. Try to get to them. And then he steps over and starts to cut the other adventurer that's hanging there from the ceiling. And now we are here. His luck is 4. She's going to take one last ditch effort to put that guy to sleep. She has a magic score of 8. Oh my gosh. She rolls a 9 and fails her spell roll. So she does not put the cultist to sleep. The dwarf is going to fight against his opponent at -4. 6, so he has a 2, 11, 5, 9, 14. So they're both fighting with fists. So fist is, if he rolled a 5, he would have done, he's doing 1 damage. His armor is absorbing it. Okay. And then Corsair Fender versus his cultist. 6 and 9 is 15. 7 and 5 is 12. So 4 damage with his sword, 3 damage with his sword, and he actually, with light armor, absorbs 1 of it. So he's actually taking 2 damage. And he... so he's still up, but not by much. And unfortunately, the cultist finishes off the other adventurer. She has no magic left. She's going to walk up and heal Kobold with her final healing. So he's up to 14 stamina of a total of 16. And so the dwarf is going to fight with his cultist at minus... Oh, wait, he gets to stand up this time. So this is full on. But they're fighting with fists. So he only does 6, 9 is 15, 8 and 5 is... I'm sorry, he doesn't get 9. He has an 8 because he has a brawl score of 1. This guy doesn't have a brawl score at all, so he's just going with his 5. So 8, 5 is 13. 6 and 8 is 14. So he wins. He does 1 damage, and this guy doesn't do the armor. So he takes another hit. So he's almost down. We're going to have him test luck to do extra damage. And, of course, he fails that. And so he does not take the guy down. Yeah, it's worth a shot, right? All right. And then Corsair Fender is going to attack his cultist. 7 and 7 to 16. And with his sword, he's doing 3 damage. This guy is 6 and 11. That's still, yeah. So, and his armor does not go. So 2 damage. And he takes his... Does not take his down. He injures him. Cannot seem to take this down. All right. So he turns his attentions now to Corsair. So he's going to move up on him, of course, and they both each have a +1 to attack. So there's no magic or range, so she's going to move up and attack the one on Corsair. So we'll do Kobold, Hammerbeard. These two are fighting with their... I forgot Corsair doesn't have a sword anymore. Yeah, he just did some damage. Sure, knocked that guy out. Okay, fun. All right, Kobold's attacking his guy with his fist. 6 and 8 is 14. So he... And with his fist, he actually does 2 damage. No, he still only does 1 damage. And this guy's armor doesn't take it. But that's enough finally to take him down. So he takes out his cultist. And he moves up on this guy. And now he is double teamed. As Kestrian attacks with her stave. She gets to add 5 to this roll. 8, 13, 5, 10. So she actually... hits. Her staff, she does nice. Ooh, she's doing 3 damage with her stave, but this guy actually absorbed 1 of it, so he's taking 2. But that's enough to take him down, so he's down. Well done. And then Corsair Fendor is fighting with Fist. He has -4 to this roll, because the cultist has a weapon. So 6 plus his... Does he have brawling? He does 1, so 8. So he has a 15. And he hits for 1 damage. 15. Does he hit? Wait. 7 and 8 is... but he has -4 to hit. Okay. So his skill is 8. 7. So this is actually 3. 3 plus 8 is 11. 8 plus 5 is 13. So he actually strikes back. He is doing 2 damage with the dagger that he has. And his armor is actually absorbing it. Yeah. But only... Yeah, no, that's enough. His shield comes into play too because of the roll. So he takes no damage, thank goodness, from that guy's dagger, even at -4. All right, so Coconut, you missed the jump. All right, so things are heating up here. The cultist leader is by himself, though he has killed the two of them. So they move up on him. All 3 are there. They have +2 to attack. But 2 of them don't have any weapons. So we're going to do her first since she has a stave versus his dagger. He is going to make his Corsair his main opponent. But this is the attack with her, with Kestrian. So Kestrian is 5, 10 versus his 5, 10. So they do not strike each other. All right. Now let's do unarmed Corsair versus armed cultist, but the cultist can't hurt him. It's just a matter of whether he is going to strike or not. So he's only rolling a 1. That's 9. 10, so he takes no damage from Corsair. And now he's going to defend against Kobold. 7. He has minus. So he's at 3 plus Kobold's 8. Eight, 3, 8. So no. All right. Kestrian versus the cult leader. 6 is 11. 6 and 5 is 11. All right, tries to defend against Corsair. Corsair gets a 8. He outdoes Corsair, so takes no damage. Kobold, 10. -4, so 6, 14 versus 10, 5, 15. The cultist takes no damage from him. She attacks. Oh my goodness, I think he's going to actually hurt her. So 5, that's 9, 14 versus 4 and... oh man, so he hits her with his dagger, so that is going to be 3 points of damage, and she does not have any armor, so she is taking 3 points of damage. Ouch. Now, he has to defend himself against the unarmed one. They can actually hurt him if they hit. They do get +2, so we'll say -3. I've been doing that. I keep forgetting about the gang up bonus. So we got a 10 and a 5. He's got a 2 plus, so he's up to 4, plus his brawling of 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 10 plus 5. So he does not take any damage from Corsair. Now versus Kobold, 10, 15. Kobold is at -3, so that's 7. Plus 8 is 15, and this guy is 15, so no damage. Him versus Kestrian. Oh my gosh, she's getting her butt kicked. 8 and 5 is 13. 4 and 5 is 9, so he hits 1 point of damage, and so she takes another point of damage. She's taking it, man. And she's fighting with a weapon. All right, he's got to defend against Corsair, who has no weapon. Oh my gosh, these dice rolls are horrific. All right, so he's got a -3, so he's at 2, 10, 4, 9. Oh my gosh, he actually got through, but he only does 1 point of damage. So 1 point of damage on the head cultist. And let's see about using luck in combat. I keep forgetting. So you test your luck to avoid damage. I think you test your luck to do extra. Using luck in combat. Test for luck to see if he's successful. Will roll a 1 for their damage roll without making a physical dice roll. Increase the damage. This option may not be used. The chosen luck was used to win the combat rounds. If this option is used, the character must... Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So he didn't get a successful attack. Or he did get a successful attack, right? So he got a 2 plus 8. So it's 10, 4, 9. Okay, so he got a successful attack. So he's going to push his luck. This is Corsair. He's going to push his luck and see if he can do extra damage. 6, so he does. Okay, pretty good. Now, automatically on the high level of 7+ with his fist, which is actually 2 damage. No, 3 damage. So he's actually doing 3 damage to the head cleric. In his armor. So that's good. Now, Kobold, he's defending against Kobold. Kobold has -3, so he's at 8. And 8 is 16, 5. Okay, so he's actually getting through here too. So he's going to test his luck. But this guy's, he's going to absorb some of this damage because he has some light armor. So he's going to absorb, I think he's going to absorb 1 because it was, or wait. He's going to absorb 1. Yeah. Okay. So if he does manage to get through it, so he's going to test his luck to try to up his damage. 7, which puts him underneath. So that automatically puts him in the category of his fist. That's 3. He absorbs 1, it's 2, but that's enough to take him down. So I did use luck effectively. They finally take down the cultists, but they're too late. So they cut down the adventurers, wrap them up in blankets they're carrying, and they make their way out of the delve and back to their client who hired them to retrieve the adventurers from the delve. It's unfortunate they were not able to stop the cultists from their blood sacrifice, but in the end, the adventurers were avenged by the heroes. So that was Advanced Fighting Fantasy. Let me know what you think of that system. First time I ever played it full on. And it's interesting, yeah, for sure. I think it takes a little bit of getting used to, but, you know, let me know what you think. So once again, thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy sharing these gaming experiences with you. So until next time, let me know what you think about this down in the comments. And until next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Mage Hammer out.